Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on 20 cable stations from Vermont to New York City and 24/7 on the internet at thestruggle.org. Our program today is dedicated to the memory of Neda Agha Soltan and all those who were killed by the Iranian regime last week. Neda was shot by a sniper as she walked near a demonstration in Tehran. Reportedly, her family was barred from having any kind of ceremony at her burial and was driven from her home. Our show today will be mostly about a demonstration in support of the people of Iran that occurred in Providence, Rhode Island. We'll also continue with the analysis of psychotherapist Harriet Fraad talking about how the Great Recession is affecting family life, how it is shocking it, and her ideas for what should be done. Iran. Over the past few years, many of us have been working to protect the Iranian people from a disastrous attack by the United States or Israel. As late as a year ago, it seemed a near certainty that this attack would occur. Distinguished journalist Seymour Hersh said that the attack was going to happen. Bush wanted it as part of his legacy, and he listened to no one. The threats were terrifying: a decapitation strike, maybe even nuclear weapons to wipe out Iran's hardened targets. Thousands dead, hundreds of thousands of dead, a possibility. Iran was demonized as the new Nazi Germany, and its President Ahmadinejad's sponsoring of a Holocaust denial conference made it easy to tar him as an anti-Semitic fanatic. Our job seemed clear: to point out that Iran was not a one-person dictatorship, that there were no anti-Semitic outrages going on in Iran, that U.S. experts had concluded that Iran didn't have a nuclear weapons program, and that there was no reason at all to think that the Iranian Republic was willing to commit suicide just to wipe out Israel. Though we defended Iran from attack, human rights and left communities have had little respect for the Islamic Republic itself. We remembered how in 1979 it crushed democratic movements and its sordid records on women's rights, gay rights, and worker rights. Weeks ago, June 26th was to be an International Day of Solidarity with workers who had been arrested on May Day in Iran on bogus charges. Still, Iran's government supported the Lebanese struggle for freedom from Israel, and some appreciated its rather crude criticisms of Israel in the face of the surrender of Arab governments on the question of Palestine. Then came the Iranian presidential election, the so-called landslide for Ahmadinejad, charges of fraud, the huge demonstrations in Iran of hundreds of thousands of people, and the killing of peaceful protesters. Now we have a double duty to support the Iranian people working for their freedom while still opposing an Israeli blitzkrieg or European and U.S. government plans to make Iran another cash cow for the oil companies. The hypocrisy of the West is stunning. These governments had stood silent as Israel committed mass murder in Gaza and watched approvingly the everyday killings of Palestinians during nonviolent protests in the West Bank. Now, suddenly, these governments were outraged at the killing of Neda. President Obama proclaimed the universal rights to assembly and free speech must be respected, and the United States stands with all who seek to exercise those rights. Yet somehow Obama has never said one word to the family of American Tristan Anderson, who was gravely injured while observing nonviolent protest on the West Bank. Top Israeli leaders go further. They publicly say that Ahmadinejad is their preferred candidate, that it's better that he stay in power. That way the demonization of Iran could continue, and their goal of reducing Iran to rubble could finally be achieved. As the head of the Israeli Mossad put it, with Ahmadinejad as president, it would be easier to garner support from around the world for pressure on Iran. On June 28th, several dozen people came down to Rhode Island's state capitol to show solidarity for the people in the Iranian street.
People united will never be defeated. The 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 people united will never be defeated.
Bye, dictator! Bye, dictator! Bye, dictator! Bye, dictator!
آزادی
We
می‌خواهیم.
want freedom and mercy!
آزادی می‌خواهیم. آزادی می‌خواهیم. آزادی می‌خواهیم. آزادی می‌خواهیم.
We're here today to demand two things. First of all, to show solidarity with the people of Iran in their struggle for democracy and the rights of free assembly and free speech. And secondly, to say that the U.S. and Israeli governments should not take this opportunity as an excuse to intervene in the affairs of Iran. This is a government that has no right to tell anyone else about democracy or rights. And on that note, I think it's actually worth pointing out, if people haven't heard, this morning it was announced or found out that there was a coup, a kidnapping in Honduras, that the democratically elected president of Honduras has been kidnapped by the military in an action that has been tacitly backed by the White House, by the U.S. and by the Obama administration. I think this is. I want to first call up Nader. Nader's a refugee from Iran. He's going to be speaking in Farsi, but Bill will read its translation. So please give a welcome to Nader.
I want to tell something about the Iranian government in the Farsi. هموطنان عزیز، از وقتی که محمود احمدی نژاد به عنوان برنده انتخابات ریاست جمهوری انتخاب شده، همواره تعداد کثیری از هموطنان ما به درجه شهادت و همچنین به عنوان مجرم شناخته شدند و در مقابل نتیجه انتخابات خیلی از ایرانی‌ها دستگیر شدند.
Since President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was declared the winner in the June 12 elections in Iran, there have been widespread protests against the contested election results. The Iranian authorities have responded with violence and repression, arresting hundreds of journalists, students, opposition politicians, and human rights activists.
حکومت ایران با ایجاد ترس و وحشت، خشونت، دستگیری و زندانی صدها روزنامه‌نگار، دانشجو، فعالان سیاسی، دکترها و فعالان حقوق بشر. جمعه گذشته 2 دکتر ایرانی و 24 تا دانشجوی ایرانی ناپدید و هیچ نشانی از آنان در دست نیست. و جالب این است که هنگامی که دستگیر شدند بدون از هیچ گونه خشونت در مکانی خلوت و در حال مباحثه انتخاباتی بودند. این بازداشت‌ها قسمت دیگری از خشونت و ایجاد ترس و وحشت در میان مردم است که توسط پلیس انجام می‌شود.
2 Iranian doctors and 24 others are missing, their whereabouts unknown, after they were arrested at a peaceful protest following last Friday's widely disputed election.